Should I do the veil on? Veil off? Do veil off. Feels a little weird. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be the very first of many bridal videos you are going to be seeing on my channel. So many people asked me, who's gonna do your makeup? And I'm like, me. And they're like, some people are like all for it. They're so supportive. They're like, yes, of course, you're gonna do your own makeup, blah, blah. So pretty much this is the start of a new series. So the series is gonna be called For the Bride, and then it's gonna be followed by Who. So for the bride, whom, is it who or whom? I might have to ask my sister because she's an English major. It's going to be a new series on my channel. It's going to be called For the Bride. So if you're the type of bride that likes a really natural makeup look, I'm going to have a really natural, easy makeup look for you. If you are on a budget, please don't think that if you're doing your own makeup, you have to spend X, Y, and Z on all of these products. Good products doesn't mean they're expensive. Cheap products don't mean that they're bad. Affordable products also in the same boat as cheap products. Just because they are inexpensive and they're affordable does not mean that they are crap. It doesn't mean that they're horrible. It doesn't mean that they perform terribly. It just means that they are marketed at a more affordable price and the product could be good. I have so many foundations and concealers and eyeshadow palettes that are inexpensive and they are beautiful. If you're the type of bride that wants full-on glam, like full face contour and highlight, full-blown mink lashes, I'm trying to avoid mink lashes, so like faux mink lashes. If you're the type of bride that likes a super duper winged liner, I'm gonna have a red lip type of bride. I'm gonna have a nude lip type of bride, a pinky lip type of bride. Even if it's not my style per se, I feel like it can definitely help everybody else as well. I put a poll. It was to my fellow makeup artists. If you were getting married, would you do your own makeup or would you hire someone else? It was so 50-50. So many of my friends who are also makeup artists, they were like, I don't know how to answer this question. Because it's like, you're so used to doing your makeup your way. I don't know if I could put my face in the hands of someone else unless they have the same style as me. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten my makeup done before, and yes, it has looked beautiful, but there's just a way that I do it that just fits my facial structure. Like, I know what my skin type is like, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to start this series on my channel just for the bride. So for the bride who wants a smoky eye, for the bride that wants a natural eye, for the bride that wants no eyeshadow makeup, nothing, for the bride that just wants the most simple makeup look ever, this is for you. This is going to be for you, for me, and it's also great to have these videos for myself, for me to look back on. So like 2 or 3 months before the wedding, I know exactly what products I need to replenish on, what products are my favorite, what products didn't work out for me. It's going to be helpful to anybody, whether you're a makeup artist yourself and you want to know what kind of makeup look to do for your big day, or if you don't know how to put a touch of makeup on, but you're just looking for tutorials or inspiration for your wedding day. It's not that I don't want to be pampered on my wedding day. Of course I do. I want to be pampered. I don't want to have to worry about a thing. But I also am very obsessive when it comes to certain things. Like, I don't like when a makeup artist wants to come and fill in my eyebrows with powder, because I don't use powder. Powder is a little bit too harsh for me, and trends are going to change as well. So like, what's trendy now might not be trendy in 2022 when I decide to get married. Everything changes and everything is changing and everything is evolving. Trends change, you know, new products come out, things like that. So who knows by the time I get married. But that's why I wanted to have this playlist on my channel. I wanted to have this series so I could come back to it. You guys can always come back to it if you need to, things like that. I love other makeup artists. I follow other makeup artists. Some just have a style that is not the same as mine, and that's fine. That's totally fine. For me, I'm very, like I said, I'm obsessive, so I don't like when an artist throws 4 different powders on my face, but guess what? I put 4 different powders on my face today. But you'll see why. It's all different. Like, I just know how my skin is going to react to these types of powders, how long the powder is left on my face. I know how my skin is just going to react and how it's going to feel throughout the day. Like, I'm very dry. I also have very sensitive skin, so anything that other makeup artists use on me, I always get nervous, whether it's skincare, you know, the skin prep, their primer, foundation, whatever it may be. My skin is very sensitive, and I don't know. I'm just like, I was looking at bridal makeup the other day, and I was just like, why are all these bridal makeup inspirations like a shimmery lid and a matte outer corner? I know what you're thinking, Michelle, you're literally wearing it, but it's just like, I guess it's just the placement and the style and the technique. And I have very difficult eyes to work with. I have very small almondy eyes. I have a lot of real estate on my lid, you know, I do. But I have a lot of folds in my lid, a lot of creases in my lid. I know how to work with my eye shape. I know how to work with my skin texture. I know how to work with my brows, my nose. I have a wider nose, so I know how to contour it. And those are the reasons why I decided to want to do this. And probably because I'm going to be doing my makeup on my wedding day. And I don't think that it's uncommon. I know a lot of other makeup artists, especially on YouTube, they've done their makeup on their wedding days for themselves, and it just, to me, it just makes the most sense because, like I said, I know what I love. I know it works well for me. I know it looks good on me. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. If you have any recommendations, requests, let me know. I would be happy to do that for you. I'm very excited. I'm super excited. Obviously, I'm very excited to get married, but it's expensive and it's still 2 years away, but it's gonna come here like that. So I'm very excited, but I am bringing to you today my take on like a rose goldy, really pretty pinky, not pinky, but like just a very pretty rose gold type of eye. That's kind of what I was going for. And I absolutely love the way that it looks. Please know that my techniques and the way I do things are going to change. Like, I did so many different layers of contour, highlight, foundation, contour, highlight, foundation. Please know that's not going to be every single video. So if you're like, oh shit, like she's putting way too much on, please don't think that I'm going to do it in every single video because I have base routines already on my channel as well for you guys to follow. And I'm not going to do it like that every single time. This is just like kind of trial and error for me as well. I'm going to stop talking now because this video, I'm telling you, is probably going to be over a half hour. But I just like, I go in depth, I talk about it, and that's just what's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm very excited. I love you guys so much. And if you guys want to see how to get this look, let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So we're just going to jump on into this thing. I kind of explained already what this video is about. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So for starters, I'm just going to go ahead and put my hair back. I really don't know how people do their makeup with their hair down. Even when I'm watching a tutorial, I'm like, how is your hair down? So I already have my brows on, and I decided to do my brows off camera just because I don't know what the brow trends are going to be like by the time I get married. These are the way that I feel on my brows. Some people might think they're a little bit too thick, but I really don't care because I have very thin eyebrows to begin with. So basically the only brow product I'm going to use is my Patrick Ta one, but I'm not going to use this till later. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So for eyes, for this tutorial, I wanted it to be like a really pretty rose goldy type of makeup look. So this is For the Bride, which is the name of this series that I'm going to have on my channel, For the Bride. This is for the bride that likes more of like a pinky tone. They're not very into the natural type of makeup. They're not into like the nude eye, things like that. So what really made this particular eyeshadow look, like what I have in mind, really stemmed from this shadow from the Makeup by Mario palette. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And it's just such a gorgeous shade. Obviously, it's not the only palette that I have here. For my wedding, I'm definitely probably going to be choosing something Natasha Denona. So I have my Natasha Denona palettes here. I have my all neutral Biba palette here, which is a staple. It's one of my favorite Natasha Denona palettes. And then I also have the newer palette. This is her Love palette, which I thought was perfect for this tutorial as well because we do have some subtle pinks down here. Not sure if I'm going to go in with them. Like, I am obviously going to go in with like some neutral tones and things like that, but I just wanted to like have my variation. And I actually really love applying blush in my crease as well, especially when it's like a more all cohesive look. Like, we want it all to match and really look nice. So I have my Scott Barnes palette here as well, which I absolutely love these. And it's pretty much just going to be a video. This is like one of the options. So if you're a bride, you're a makeup artist, you're unsure what you want to do, and this is your type of style, then obviously go ahead, sit down, pull it out, and then obviously these products might change as the weeks go on. Obviously, I'm not getting married until 2022, so this is what I have right now, just like as my favorite. So we're just going to go ahead and go for it. So to prime my eyes, I'm actually going to go in with my foundation. The foundation I'm using today is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. So it's this guy right here. I have it in the shade 1N2 Vanille. So I have this guy right here. As you guys can see, I've used quite a bit of it. I love this foundation. I think it's so beautiful, photographs really well. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm only going to do one eye on camera just so you guys can get really like the effect of everything. What I'm going to go ahead and do first is I'm going to apply this mostly to my lid, just like this, and I am going to go ahead and start to carve out my brow just a little bit, but not with a lot of product on it. So I'm starting down here, and I'm going to work my way up there just so we have a clean brow. And then I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush, pick up a little bit more of the foundation, and then just go ahead and apply this kind of everywhere. And using a foundation, something that is my tone, will really help because I like doing my eyes first. So if I have like any discoloration here, pretty much this foundation is going to cancel it. And then when I add foundation, it's not going to look like there's a big difference. Like, don't get me wrong, I do go in with, you know, concealers from time to time and stuff like that. But when I'm going to an event or I know my pictures are going to be taken, like these are the steps that I do in order to have my makeup look its best. So like I always drag it out. I bring it around like my brow a little bit, especially around my temple, because I really try to avoid any makeup in this area. Like when I do my face, when I already have my brow, when I already have my eye makeup on. And I actually really like holding a compact and I like looking down into it. That's just my preferred method. I do have hooded eyes. I do have a lot of folds on my eyes, so that's definitely helpful. And then I just like to kind of like stamp around the harsh line of it. I'm obviously going to have to go in and clean up the front of my brow just a little bit, but that's not until later. So I'm not going to set anything, but I am going to go in with my bronzer. So the bronzer I have for today is my Marc Jacobs Coconut Bronzer. And I'm just going to take this and we're just going to lightly throw this in the crease. I think it's important to incorporate your bronzer color or your contour color in your eyes at some point because it will make the look cohesive. It will make it look a little bit more natural. I do this step just so, again, it could follow like the natural depths of my face. So instead of going with like a stark brown or like a pink shade, this is just going to help pull it all together. And that's also why I throw in a little bit of my blush shade as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and no, I don't set this. I just tap out all my creases. It's a foundation, so for me it sets on its own. And we're just going to go ahead and remember I'm looking down into my compact and I'm just throwing this into my natural eye socket. If I were looking up, it would definitely be a little higher, and I don't want it to be higher. I want it in my natural eye socket. So we're just going to go ahead and throw it in my eye socket. My voice might crack a little bit. I'm sorry. And I am going to just flick it out just a little bit. I'm not sure of I have an idea of what I want to do. Obviously it's going to be more subtle, more natural, but it still does have to be a little bit oomph. Like there's got to be a little bit of oomph. So like it can photograph really well too. So we're just using this, and just use your bronzer as pretty much like your transition shade. It's also good to use your bronzer as kind of like a sketching, so you can just kind of sketch out the eyeshadow shape on your eye with your bronzer. And then just make sure you have a clean blending brush handy just to, you know, blend it out further, you know. No harsh lines. We don't want any harsh lines. And this is all about layering. You want to make sure you're really layering your products. So we're going to layer our eyeshadows. We're going to layer our base. We're going to layer everything. So it's all about the layers. So again, I'm just going to go in with a little more with that fluffy brush actually, and just kind of further. I'm going to go into my Natasha Denona Biba palette, and I'm going to grab the shade Buff. Buff is like a very warm toned terracotta, but I definitely feel like it pulls a little bit more like that rosy type of brown. I hope you guys could see that. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that, and this is kind of going to be the start of our eye shape. So I'm grabbing that on a Zoeva 227 brush. We're just going to pick that up, tap off the excess, and I'm going to start throwing this into my crease and my outer corner area. Actually, I might just actually stick this in my crease because I really love the shade of this. And I'm not going to bring it too far in. I'm just going to focus this more like on the half of the eye going out towards the outer corner. back and forth, windshield wiper motions, not a lot of pressure. Make sure you're holding your brush super lightly. Make sure you're holding your brush like down here, anything like this. If you're up here, you don't have a lot of control and your blending is going to be a little bit too harsh. So make sure you're holding it here, and you just go ahead and you do windshield wiper motions back and forth. And then you can just do small circular motions like this, just really buffing out those edges. And we're going to pick up a little bit more. And I'm actually just going to wing this out just a little bit. We're not going to go super dramatic with it. We're just going to kind of pack it right there. Go back in with that brush that doesn't have any product on it and just go ahead and further blend. You can pick up a bone colored shadow, a skin tone, you know, your skin tone type of like powder, or you can go back in with your bronzer and just further diffuse the edges. When I say rose gold, it's not going to be like pink on my lids. I want you guys to remember that the base, like the lid color, is going to be rose gold. That's what it's going to be like. That's going to be the star of the show, but we also have to incorporate a little bit more of those tones to help that shade pop. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this shade right here from the Natasha Denona Love Palette, and this is in the shade Soul. And it's a little bit more of a mauve tone pink. And I'm going to place that right above where we put that buff shade, ever so slightly, because it is very pigmented, but I just want a little bit of that shading. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want a hint of that color. And if you feel like you put too much, go ahead and take your big fluffy brush and blend it away. But now I still see that little bit of that shade, and now I'm okay with that, and now you can go ahead and start deepening up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. I know it's super annoying, I'm sorry, but I'm actually going to go in with the shade Pasha from the Biba palette. And we're going to throw this on the outer corner area. I'm taking Pasha on a Smith 230 brush, and we're packing that onto the outer corner. And I'm just going to go in again with that Zoeva 227 brush, and I'm going to pick up Buff again, and we're just going to go ahead and tap it over top of it. It will help make it a little bit more subtle. If you don't want to go in with something as deep as Pasha, you can obviously take it out. I'm kind of thinking I shouldn't have gone in with Pasha, but I think we're going to make it work. Okay, so I have a few options for the lid. I have this guy right here. This is by Hourglass. This is their Scattered Light Glitter Eyeshadow, and it's in the shade Reflect. It is so beautiful. It's just such a gorgeous champagne-y rose gold color. I think I'm going to put this over top of the Makeup by Mario one. But first, I'm actually going to go in with a little bit more of my foundation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep this across the eye. It might sound a little bit weird, but I'm just going to sweep it across the eye. Trust the process. I'm not going to cut it. We're not going to cut the crease. We're not going to cut the crease. We are just going to sweep this over the lid so we have a really nice base. Wipe off the brush. Go ahead. Keep buffing it. Make sure you go in that inner corner, because sometimes like that demarcation can look a little harsh in the inner corner. So I'm taking the Makeup by Mario, the Master Metals palette, and I'm picking up that rose gold shade. It's literally called Rose Gold. And I'm using my finger, and I'm just pretty much tapping it on my lid. We're going to go in with a brush and just kind of like sweep it. Now I'm gonna go in with the Scattered Light from Hourglass. So that's pretty much it. You can go ahead and add a wing if you want. I'm not a wing liner kind of gal, but I did take this eye pencil. This is from Appeal, and this is their gel liner in Desert Taupe. It's really, really pretty. It's just a light browny, goldeny type of eyeliner, and I'm just throwing this over top just to help, you know, thicken the lash line just a little bit, give it a little bit more dimension. Also tone it down a little bit as well. So now you just got to go ahead and pick your lashes. I have a few lashes here. I'm probably going to go in with these by Tatti lashes, just because they're so pretty and so comfy. The day of my wedding, not sure what I'm going to do lash-wise, like if I'm going to go in with individuals. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to apply lashes last, actually. I'm going to grab some mascara. Just throw on some mascara. This is Milk Makeup Kush. I'm going to do the other eye off camera and we'll be back. Okay, so I did the other eye off camera. We're going to go ahead and do the face. What I'm going to do is I already have my skincare on. My skincare has been sitting on my skin for about an hour and a half. I really let it soak in. And I actually put like a sleeping cream on top just so my skin is extra moisturized and it's plump and it feels good. So I'm going to go in with a hydrating primer first. This is by Mercier. And someone is still blowing the leaves outside. So I like putting this in between my nose, I like putting this right here in my nose, right where we get red, but I also get really dry there. I really like to go here on my smile lines. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Hollywood Flawless Filter. Now keep this handy because we are going to also mix it into our foundation as well. So I'm going to go ahead, throw this in the middle, pretty much the high points of my face. And we're going to go ahead and blend that in. I do have some blemishes on my forehead, but it's okay. Gonna let that sit for a little bit. So we're gonna go in with contour first. You guys have seen me do this a bunch of times. I'll link some videos down below. And for cream contour, I've been liking, it's either usually typically a high coverage concealer, so something like Tarte Shape Tape, Dose of Colors, even the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer you can use just in like a deeper tone for you to cream contour, or you can go in with a foundation. So the foundation that I've typically been using is the Kevyn Aucoyn Skin Illuminating the Etherialist foundations, just like this little sample size that I got, but it's so good. I'm putting it all over the forehead, and it's a foundation, so it's going to have some coverage there. So I didn't want to go too in-depth in this part because I do have several tutorials on this technique, so I will link that down below in the description bar for you guys. And also, I might be voiceovering some of this just because I'm not a fan of the audio in this video, plus someone was like blowing the leaves outside or lawn mowing, and all you hear is the machine, and it was driving me bananas. So I hope you don't mind. So we're just blending everything out. Like I said, I will link the videos for this technique down below in the description box. This is a Luxie 516 dual fiber brush for those who are wondering. Okay, now we're going to go in with concealer, and of course I'm going to be using Tarte Shape Tape. I just need to blend out this nose a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of light neutral. So you're essentially just applying your contour and your highlighter before your foundation. So just do the same placement you would for both as if you had foundation on already. For me, the layering really helps my makeup last longer on the skin. I find that I don't use as much foundation, and sometimes I feel like I could be super heavy-handed with foundation, and I feel like when I do this technique, I don't use a lot of foundation. Even though I might look like a lot of product on my skin, it's really not. I'm telling you, once you guys try this technique, you're gonna realize like, wow, I use a lot of foundation. Like if I were just gonna put foundation on first, I usually use like 4 to 6 pumps, but with this technique, I end up only using 2 pumps of foundation, and I find that my skin just looks and feels way better. I start blending it out with a little bit of a brush, then I'm going to go in with my Luxie brush again just to marry the two colors together. At first, I start blending out with the brush. So this is the Luxie brush that I'm using. I'll leave the name of it down below in the description box if you're curious. But any dual fiber brush will work great for this step. So we're just basically buffing out more like the larger parts of where the concealer is. But because I'm a beauty blender type of gal, I'm going in with a wet sponge now, and I'm just blending everything out. This is also going to help pick up excess product. So just keep that in mind. A brush really won't pick up excess product, but a damp sponge will. So that's why I'm going in with this first, because we are going to add another layer. Ooh, my arm is hurting from blending. So now we're going to go in with the foundation. So I'm going to take my Mercier foundation, 3 pumps. I'm going to take a little bit of this Candle Glow also by Mercier, which is in the shade Golden, which is definitely too dark for me. So put that in a separate area. Just 2 pumps, and then go back in with the Charlotte Tilbury and mix it in with the lighter foundation. You don't need the darker foundation, but I have it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up this foundation on the Luxie brush. And here we are, we're grabbing that Luxie brush. Like I said, if you guys have a dual fiber brush, it's going to be your BFF, whether you have one from Morphe or MAC or Smith or whatever it may be. Pick up your dual fiber brush. It can be big or small, whatever works for you. And we're just going to go ahead and marry the concealer and the cream contour together. So I'm going over top of the concealer, and I'm making sure that that cream contour that we use to cut out the jawline is blended, because that's the last thing I want. I don't want that harsh demarcation line of where I drew to kind of contour my jaw. You know what I'm saying? And this is just going to help marry the products together. Like, look at how good my skin looks. It looks dewy, it looks fresh. I'm telling you, it looks so good. You have to try this technique at least once in your life. We're going to take the darker one and just go ahead and use this kind of in between, like the contour, the foundation, over top of everything. Just kind of helps marry those three shades together. Don't be scared to get up in that hairline. And you guessed it, we're going to go in with more contour. So grab the contour again. I'm not going to go in with that much this time. At any means, if I'm doing an extra step and you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So if you don't want to go in with more cream contour like I am doing right here, don't. Go ahead and skip it and go to the next step. I personally am adding a second layer of contouring because, let's face it, if this is your wedding day, you want to add those layers. You want to make sure this makeup is lasting all day long, maybe even like 18 hours, maybe 22 hours. You want to make sure that this makeup is lasting you all day and it's going to continue to look fresh. So layers is really going to be your best friend, and I'm telling you, it will not disappoint you. I'm going to let it sit there for a little bit. Go in with a lighter concealer. This is Tarte Shape Tape Light Sand, which is definitely lighter than the first shade, and we're just going to go ahead and pop this right under, and I'm going to go in straight with a beauty blender for this. Just going to help melt everything together. At this point, I feel like your arms should be really hurting you from all the blending. So yes, I'm going in with a little bit more concealer. This is a brighter color, just so we have a little bit more brightness under the eyes, and it helps us really get more dimension back into the face. So I'm going in with a beauty blender. It's just going to help pick up all of that excess product. It's going to really help melt all of the shades and all of the products together. I'm going over my nose. I'm going all around the sides of my nose. The sides of my nose and by my nostrils, I tend to get a lot of buildup there, so going in with a sponge actually really helps me pick up a lot of excess product as well. So since we're going in with a lighter concealer, make sure you go back in with that same brush that you used to blend out your contour, and make sure you go ahead and blend out your contour again. You want to make sure everything is blended seamlessly, so that's why we used a really, really dark contour shade, then we used that medium tone foundation, and that's why we used 2 different shades of concealer. I'm sure by the time I get married, my nose contour will be completely different, but for now, I'm just contouring the sides of my nose and just rounding out the tip a little bit just to give it a little bit more of like a rounded tip, even though my tip kind of looks pretty round right now on camera. Might be the contour, I don't know. Okay. No, we're not ready for powder yet. Just watch and wait. We're going to go in with like some creamy blush. So I really love these guys. These are by Charlotte Tilbury, and I have the shades Pinkgasm and Peachgasm here, and I'm going to mix the two together. You might be thinking, how come you're mixing them together if it's a rose gold look? And I'm like, this is very, very, very pinky. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very, very pinky. It's gorgeous, but it's a little bit too pinky for my liking, so I just do mix it with a little bit of Peachgasm. It gives it a really beautiful, and it's just going to be such a beautiful base. Like, I even mixed them together, and that's still kind of pink. But it's okay, because I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. So if there's anything you want to take away from this, I would definitely not recommend taking away the liquid blush, because blush is one of the first things that fades on our face when we're wearing makeup. Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed like, oh my god, like where's my blush? Like your contour and your bronzer stays pretty well, but blush for some reason is just the first thing that fades. So I'm going pretty heavy-handed with this, and then we're even going to go in with a powder blush because we don't want our blush to fade. It's our wedding day. Go in with a liquid highlighter. You can go back in with that Charlotte Tilbury one, but I'm going to grab this one. I mean, yeah, you could go back in with the Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury, but I'm going to go in with Pillow Talk, which is just a cream highlighter. And I'm not taking a lot of it. I'm just taking it ever so slightly. And yes, we're going to go back in with the liquid blush and just blend over top of it. And you can take your beauty blender, sponge, whatever you use, and just kind of go over top of everything, really blend out any creasing. We're ready for powder. I love this powder so much. This is by Huda Beauty. This is their loose pound cake butter. Loose pound cake butter. Okay. Loose powder in the shade Pound Cake. And I'm actually going to use my e.l.f. sponge to set the under eyes. I'm going to pick up a crap ton of it. Blend it out with my sponge. No harsh lines. No creasing. Once you set it, not really much going back. And I'm not going to let it sit there, literally 5 seconds. Go in with your Charlotte Tilbury powder. And start pushing that into your skin with the Charlotte Tilbury powder on your brush. If you start to swipe, you might disturb that product and all those layers underneath it. So by pushing it, you're really helping it set into place. So push, 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 push. Like, it's like tap, 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 like tap across your face. And then anywhere where you get dry, I typically only use that powder underneath my eyes just because I don't want anything too heavy on my face. Not that I'm saying it's heavy, but I just prefer not to bake everywhere else. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to keep this open, right? And I'm going to take my Hourglass powder. If you had like one of those skin softening powders like the ambient setting powders from Hourglass that are your skin tone, they just have some reflect in it, you can use this. You can use that, but this technique is that you're going to take, I'm going to use it like this. So I take 2 of these powders, right? So I'm going to take these 2 powders. This is a Fenty Beauty 170 setting brush, and I'm going to mix both powders together, just like this. I'm going to swirl them both in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm going to go over everything. And we're going to push. And this actually helps soften the edges of the blush and the bronzer that you put down. And keep this out because we're going to keep going back to it. So like now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. Yep, I'm going to pick up the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. And yes, I'm going to just tap this over where I put the powder. Tap, tap, tap. Yes, I'm putting a liquid on top of powder. But if you do it right, it won't separate. And now we're going to go in with like powder brush, powder blush, and powder contour. So I'm going to just pick up a little bit of this guy, the Marc Jacobs bronzer that I've been using. This is a Wayne Goss 13 brush, and we're just going to go ahead and just push. Push, 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 push and tap, push and tap, push and tap. You don't want to move anything. You don't want to move anything. Circular motions around the jawline. Tap, 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 tap. I'm going to mix a few shades together. So we're going to mix Minimalist, Strike a Pose, maybe some Sweet Cheeks. We're just going to mix it. We're just going to have like a nice little blush cocktail on our face. I'm going to use a Luxie 522 tapered highlighter. So we're just going to pretty much just pick them all up. I love this blush palette so much. Just tap off on the back of your hand after you pick it up. Just tap it here. If you don't want to like tap off the excess, just tap it on here. And remember, blush is the first thing that fades. So if you feel like you have to go a little bit overboard, like go overboard with it, because I'm telling you, like by the time you're done with your hair, taking photos, things like that, your blush has been faded. And if you feel like you put too much pink, go in with the orange, and it just helps tone it down. So now, what I meant before, I'm just going to do this now because I have my blush palette open. So we're going to go in with a brush, and it's just going to be a really, we're going to go in like with Strike a Pose, maybe a little bit of Minimalist, and ever so slightly, you're just going to take it and run it right there. Just like right at the end of your crease. That's it. It just helps pull the look in together. Okay, and now we're going to go with some highlighter. I think I'm just going to take this guy. My tried and true. my Hourglass powder by itself. It just gives you such a beautiful, like, ethereal glow. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you feel like things are too harsh, go in with your powder. And just stamp right across, like, not across it, because you don't want to take away that, like, the color payoff. Just go in and just diffuse the edges, just like this. It just kind of helps it, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a powder foundation. I know it sounds like a lot of powder, but my face doesn't feel dry, it doesn't feel cakey. I think I have a brush hair in my nose. Yes, I do. And we're just going to take it. This is a Makeup Forever matte powder. I'm just going to take my sponge like this. That's why I wet 2 sponges, but I just don't like the way this one feels, so. And we're just going to create. The camera stopped recording, so I don't know how much I got up to, but I just took my Makeup Forever foundation powder, and I took it on my sponge, and I just kind of cleaned up these edges a little bit. And I'm even taking that powder around my smile lines because I have a lot of smile lines that I don't want to be shown out. And then if I feel like I lost some, we're just going to go ahead and some more. And I'm just going to dust that off. But I'm going to push it. Go back to the eyes. Now that this is on, we're going to go back to the eyes. Eyes are going to be very, very, very simple. I'm going to go in with Pasha and run that on my lower lash line halfway. And I like to make sure the outer corner on my lower lash line connects with the outer corner on my upper. So making sure this outer corner here connects down here. I don't like when there's a demarcation, like this ends up here and then they drag it. I just don't like that. And then we're going to take a little bit of buff. And I'm actually just going to buff out the center. I'm not going to buff out the outer corner. We're going to take a nude liner. This is by Stila, and I'm going to throw this in my waterline. Just to really like open the eyes, make them pop. You guys are going to see that trend a lot, especially like for my bridal tutorials, because that's just the way I love doing my lower lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some lashes on, and then we'll be back to do the lip. Actually, let's just do the lips while my lash glue dries. I'm going to take my KKW Nude Liner. Let's just dry my lips a little bit. So overdraw, overline. I don't want to go in with something nudie. I want to go like mauve-y nude. This is Fawn by Lawless. We're going to take that. I'm going to take Platinum and just throw this in the center. I'm going to put my lashes on, and that's it. These are lashes. These are Tatti lashes TL9. Okay, that completes this look. I'm going to do my hair. I'll be right back. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Turn on your post notifications. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you have any requests for bridal makeup, let me know. I would be happy to do whatever you want me to do. I'm going to try and film these types of videos maybe like once every like 4 to 6 weeks. Just get as much as I can up there, honestly. Realistically, we all know I'm not getting married until 2022, but I just want to have these, you know, get an idea, get a feel for it, and obviously as the months and the years go on, I'm going to have different products and things like that. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!